Hey, there we go. All right. I gotta get this on. All right. We'll get started here in just a moment, folks. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're just about ready. Let me move my location so I have a little more light. Sorry for the wait here. We are going to do a resume review. Let me just get set up here. First time using OBS. All right, right on. Well, thanks for being here with me. Let's see. All right, great, great, great. Okay, let's get to it. All right, how you doing? Thank you for being here today. This is JP Miller with Career Inclusive. Today, as part of our 60 Days of Value, I am reviewing a couple resumes. Got a couple resumes to review, and so we're going to work through these together. First one here is for Jin. Jin is looking for a software engineering role. Autonomous vehicles is his specialty. He really wants to be an autonomous vehicle self-driving engineer. So Jin's got a lot of going right here. Overall, this is a good resume. He's got pretty concise heading. He's got his location, contact information, so we can see his email address, a link to his GitHub, phone number, and a link to his LinkedIn profile. Personally, I would normally group the email with the phone number and the LinkedIn with the GitHub profile. It's a minor detail, but these groupings, they pair better together, right? Phone, email, GitHub, LinkedIn, like those are online profiles, the other more direct contact information. In my mind, that goes better together. So I would definitely pair those in a different way. Skill section's looking pretty good. It's possible, like looking at this overall format here, Jin is using a slightly larger font than probably what we really need. So I would suggest, let's look at this. If there's a need for more bullet points, then maybe we drop the font to a size 10 or 11. There's a couple boxes here. I'm not sure what those are about. Maybe it's an icon that didn't transfer to PDF properly. I'm not sure, but I would make sure that these don't exist in the PDF version. So you don't want any kind of weird characters or like non-characters in your resume. But overall, the skills themselves look great. These look to be relevant. By the way, never use etc. or dot 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 in the resume. Either list what's relevant or it's not relevant and just there's nothing there, right? So we never have etc. We never have dot 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 in the resume. Going to the education section, I blacked out some of the dates, so the blacked areas here are years, which we would definitely keep. I'm just doing this to help protect Jin's privacy. Uh, this is a minor detail, but yeah, just just looking out for my people here. So Jin has completed a couple nano degrees. He's got a bunch of Coursera certifications and then standard degrees as well. So like solid educational portfolio here. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot that Jin can talk about, a lot of expertise here that he has to offer. And this education section really proves that. I'm okay with listing two certifications, and I'm seeing now that these little box looks like they're supposed to be bullets, maybe. So if that's the case, definitely wouldn't have bullets in the middle of the skills section. I don't think we necessarily need bullets here either, not in the education section. I'd probably use a pipe, the straight line that's there with the backslash right above the return key. I would use a pipe to break up the certifications. I'm okay with that. If we have the space, we can list each certification on its own. The Coursera certifications, this is great. This isn't too much. I have seen resumes where 25% of the resume is our list of certifications. That does get to be quite a bit. If you're experiencing that, you really want to take a look at those certifications. Like kudos to you for all the work that you're doing, but also look at those. Are all of those certifications really relevant to the job that you're applying to? Consider like a primary list and then remove the entries that are not as relevant for the job that you're applying to. I'm okay with the amount that we have here. Most of the stuff is relevant as I look at it. He's got you know, like he can be as like an advanced software engineer or data scientist. So either these play well, it looks good, as long as we'll have room for a solid experience and or project section to showcase a couple of portfolio sections, then I'm okay with that. What we could probably do is like the BS and the MS. Excuse me, I'm really sorry. It's late here. Some things held me back from getting on a little earlier. Let's move forward here. We can list these education entries in a single line. Okay. We'll get into the work experience. Again, this is looking okay. Bullet points didn't look like they don't look like they transferred over, so definitely want to fix that. But he's got his dates on this date. So here's just January and a year, and then the dash without anything. I would definitely put present right there. So I'd have January, the year to present or current. On education experiences, something that you're still going through, I would use the word current. And then for work experience, I would use the word present. These have very minor connotations. This tends to be my preference. Current tends to have a connotation of it's now, but there is going to be an end. Whereas present is for the present. There's not as much of a connotation as like this is going to end anytime soon. This is what I'm doing presently. And that might just be a nitpick. Speaking of nitpicks, if you're going to capitalize every single letter, be sure to follow through. So, like software should be capitalized. Over here, sensor, signal processing software. Like, if we're going to do it, then let's do it. And by that, I mean, if we're going to capitalize every single letter, then let's do that. Otherwise, let's not. Same thing on the education section here. Let me go back up. I saw one that I maybe, oh, yep, self-driving car specialization. So if we're going to capitalize every letter, let's actually capitalize every letter. Be consistent. Consistency shows strong organizational skills. Okay, uh, patents and papers, and it looks like we want to run into a smart, no, here we go. There we go. All right, bottom of the resume. So we don't have a project section. We do have a patents and papers section though. What I've blacked out here are just all the US patent numbers, again, protecting privacy. But yeah, you could list these numbers. There's no wrong in that. Overall, very strong. He's got a number of patents. That's relevant. That shows. The one thing this resume is missing is a project section. I would want to see, hey, can I add like one project that shows a really relevant experience to what the employer that I'm applying to is looking for? Where would I add that? Well, we probably have 2 or 3 lines left. So there's that. We could probably get communications to fit on this line by doing like comms, COMMS. And then I can probably get um, some of these education entries to fit in a single line. That should give me just enough room to sneak in one project and then make it count. Speaking of making it count, make your bullets count. So here, these bullets don't tell me too much, like conducted Samsung self-driving car SVP project. Okay, that's cool. What was the result of that? All right, I want to know what the result of this was because the result could be abysmal, it could have been a failure, or it could have been the greatest thing in the world, or somewhere in between, right? I'm going to assume it wasn't a failure. I'm going to would like to believe that it was the greatest thing in the world, but just, reality being what it is, chances more than not, he met expectations. There were areas where he was able to exceed expectations more than likely. So give me those numbers. Tell me, where did you exceed expectations? Where did you meet expectations? And then it is a resume, so those areas where maybe expectations were not met and there wasn't a whole lot of value, we just don't mention that on a resume. Okay, save that story for the interview where you can say, this is the terrible thing that happened, and this is what I learned I'll never do again, and this is how I fixed it. Right? We don't really have the room for that in a resume. So the resume is purely positive, no negativity whatsoever. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this resume. Nice work, Jen. I hope these notes are helpful. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. Give me a holler. Okay, let's turn off this one. Let's see, I can turn off the correct one. Yes, all right, and let's go to Osama. All right, let me move this over a bit if I can. There we go, there we go. Okay, great. So yeah, we got Osama's CV here. Okay, so right here, Osama, right off the top, he's announcing that this is a CV. Well, this is a bit redundant, my friend. Um, the recruiter is going to know immediately, looking at this document, that it is a resume or a CV. To me, they're essentially the same thing. I know like minor differences, but I've looked at more than 10,000 resumes and CVs. And quite honestly, what's the difference? They both explain work experience and the abilities to accomplish a job, minor details. So this really just comes down to like where you're from in the world, if you prefer to call it a resume or a CV. Essentially, they're the same thing. Okay, so all that said, we don't need CV up here. We want to write resume up there. In fact, use that space to show your name. So your name should be up here where it says CV. It can be just as large, maybe a little smaller. And, I like the size of this here. We can use that same size up there, and that gives us more room in the resume for like the meat of the resume, those bullet points that are really going to show off your quantified accomplishments. Okay, and then also we don't necessarily need a tagline. By the way, this tagline, we're missing the analyst, so the L right there. Yeah, I think the L is there. It's just white for some reason, which is a bit odd. Like I didn't black that out or anything. I don't think I did that, unless this, redacting his last name blocked out the L. But we don't need the tagline there, and that'll save us another line for some bullets. Also, here we got the I'm sorry, the location, date of birth. Now, your age is not relevant to your candidacy. Ageism is alive and well. It is a real thing. You can be too young and you can be too old. Like, employers don't need to know how old you are. Yeah, sure, maybe they can guess by when you graduated college and how many years of work experience you have. But you don't have to hand anyone your date of birth until they actually hire you and you're signing paperwork with HR. So never give date of birth. I do see from certain countries that date of birth, marital status, even like children and number of children can be pretty common. If that's required by law, okay. But if it's not, then don't offer that information. It doesn't matter if you're married. It doesn't matter if you're single. That's not relevant to your candidacy. You know, there are some problems in our culture. And when I say our culture, I mean like the culture of STEM. Like, if you're older than 30 and you're married with children, then you're no longer a top engineer. Like, tell me in a world where that is sustainable, right? It's not sustainable. Let's just end that bit of our culture. Okay, it's toxic, and let's stop. Okay, he's got his phone number and then an email address. That's all great, and then a LinkedIn profile. Excellent, nice work. Okay, profile. We got a profile. I personally am not a fan of profiles. There's only really two times when you should use a profile. If you're a fresher, right, you're just fresh out of college and you're trying to establish your brand and showcase who you are, or you're a career changer. Otherwise, my point of view is that your bullet points and your work experience and portfolio experience is going to show exactly who you are and indicate what you can do. If you are going to use a profile statement or summary statement, it should focus on what you can do for the employer. Okay, so how are you going to benefit the employer's life? How are you going to solve their pain? How are you going to make their life easier? That's the only time you should use a profile. So this one, passionate analyst with a professional experience as a data analyst. And then we have a space before the comma. We should remove that space. Enthusiastic about business analytics, interested in technology. Another space before the comma, and then no space after the comma. So let's fix that. Commas should always have a space after, never before. Certificate in IT skills, and then hashtag CIT with previous job experience. I've never seen CIT in a resume before, so this is a first for me. I think that means certificate in IT, right? And then we look to the right because we see that CIT, certificate in IT skills. A resume is so quick. A recruiter is looking at your resume in 6 seconds. It's crazy how fast they read a resume. you don't have time, we don't have the luxury to repeat information in a CV. Okay, so we want to show that information one time, the most relevant information, and then move on to the next point. And so that the resume becomes one point after another about how awesome you are, the work that you can do, and what you can accomplish for the employer. Okay, so this profile statement doesn't really give us a whole lot. It names you as an analyst and then business analyst and names things that we would expect from a data analyst, such as like being interested in technology, right? If you're a software engineer, you're a data analyst, you're a data scientist. If you tell me you're not interested in technology, I'm wondering what you're doing in your field, right? Like, let's be honest, why? Okay, so that doesn't need to be stated. Certificate in IT skills, yes, you should probably have some certification. Do you have to have certification to be an engineer or developer or an analyst? No, you can have a portfolio, right? We talked about that yesterday about building a portfolio. Don't have to have a certification. Think about it. Did the first computer scientists have certification? No. Okay, yeah, they were PhDs in mathematics. So, in a sense, yes, they had certification. Um, did they have certifications as computer scientists? No, because that didn't exist, right? They were mathematicians. Okay, so yeah, on one hand, it can be great to show certification. On the other, is it required? No, we don't need to mention that in the summary. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. So in the summary, what do I want to see in the summary? I want to see like name your brand, data analyst. Great, we did that. And then what can you do for me? I'm the employer. I want to hire someone that can solve my pain. What can you do for me? Like, did you read the job description? Did you look at my website? Did you study, like, if I'm a publicly traded company, did you look at an SEC report and see, like, what I'm about or, like, what my future forecasting is? Have you tried to, like, identify a pain that you could solve for me? Okay, if you haven't done that and someone else has, going to look at that person first. And then if they don't work out, then maybe I'll come to you. So focus on how you can solve a pain. And the certificates, this is so wordy, I'm not even reading it. Like if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking at a resume for 6 seconds, I'm not even reading 3 lines for one certificate. All that I need to see is the name of the certification, data analyst nano degree, or like Coursera did analysis specialization, data scientist specialization, Coursera with UC Irving or whatever, like UCLA. Okay, so name of the degree or the certification, name of the institution that issued the certification, and then perhaps month and year of the graduation date. Okay, when it was issued. That's it, just those 3 pieces of information. And if it's really dated, then you don't necessarily need to add the date. Or if you're worried that the date is going to age you and like indicate that you're older than 40 or 50, you don't have to show the dates then. Right? Just give me the certification and the institution. Okay, moving forward here. Education section, we got our bachelor's, so we can shorten this down. I like to try to show my education entries in one line on a 2 column resume, 2 lines. So I would say B.S.is or BS Information Systems, and then university. Um, so some of your university names can get very long. We can just show the acronyms. So like UNV, PSBA. Okay. And if you're in Saudi Arabia, then you know what PSBA is. It's like it's a common acronym. This is a very popular university in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so or you say university or UNV, PSBA, that's totally legit. You can do that. And then for the date, someone's got the date there, so nice work there. His graduation month and year, that's perfect. And then the city. We don't necessarily need Saudi Arabia, assuming that you're applying to jobs in Saudi Arabia, then your Saudi Arabian recruiter is going to understand. They will probably have heard of, uh, I'm afraid to pronounce the city's name because I'm worried I'm going to mispronounce it, but Karj, I apologize if that's incorrect. Um, or you can just show like Saudi Arabia. This is a minor detail, it can go either way. Okay, and then we've got the Udacity entry in here. Get rid of program. I'm personally, I hate to see program at the end of the nanodegree. I think it cheapens it. Like nanodegree is a copyrighted name. Yeah, of course, I come from the world of Udacity. I'm more familiar with it, but I do know that in Saudi Arabia, that MISC and Udacity have a very strong partnership. So there's a decent chance you could either brand this as MISC or Udacity or Udacity MISC if you're in Saudi Arabia, and your recruiter is definitely going to have heard about MISC if they haven't about Udacity. That will give some cred for you. So we could say business analytics nanodegree, comma, Udacity, or you could do the Udacity pipeline MISC, and then showing the date, and we'll be able to get that in 2 lines. Okay, so nice work there. Let's go over the courses. Don't like to create course sections because courses is a weak connotation, tends to indicate to recruiters that they can ignore the section. Okay, so rather than courses, we name it certifications, and then we only show what's relevant. Is digital marketing relevant? Like you can argue there's some crossover between digital marketing and data analytics, like there's marketing analytics. If you're into marketing analytics, that's what you want to do. Okay, then these things could last, they could stay. But if you're really looking for like a data analyst role and it's not at like a marketing firm and you don't really plan on doing a whole lot of campaigns, then we could probably remove that entry. Same with advanced Google Analytics, unless the job calls for that kind of experience, right? So like really we're just like cherry picking, so to speak, for every employer based on what their needs are, based on the job description. Internet of Things, I don't know if that's going to be relevant or not. There's a chance that for a number of employers we could remove that to save the space. Yeah, data science and machine learning is great to show. Definitely would show that. I would not show the weeks. I don't like personally. I don't like showing hours and weeks and like the time of the certification. I just want to show you that I got the certification, and if you have a link to like the certificate, you can hyperlink the name of the certification. I've seen where the URLs, like usually the long, crazy strings, right? And they're all printed out. It's not necessary. Just hyperlink like digital marketing certification. Just hyperlink that so it's clickable as a PDF. Machine learning is misspelled. We broke the L in learning on the wrong side. So let's be sure we fix that. And man, typos are going to kill your resume. Typos are going to kill your engagement. You got to be sure this is 100% on. Like use Grammarly. I'm not an affiliate with them, at least not at this point in time. I'm not getting any like kudos from them. They're not giving me any money. I'm just saying like go use Grammarly. Sign up for Grammarly and use it. It's got a plugin with your browser. Grammarly is awesome. It'll save you typos. It'll help you with your grammar. It'll help you somewhat with word flow even. So Grammarly is really great, especially for my friends out there where English is a second language. I know English is one of the hardest languages in the world to learn, and yet it's for some dumb luck, it became like the most popular language in the world, right there with Mandarin, which is also a very difficult language to learn. And so here we have complicated languages that like almost everyone needs to learn, one or the other or both, and it can be challenging. I empathize with that. So use Grammarly; it will help you. If you have a friend that is a native English speaker, ask them to help you with your resume and be sure that like every word is perfect. You know, it will help. It will help engagement. Okay. Professional experience. I would like to see more bullet points. I want to see quantified accomplishments here. I want to work to show entries in 2 lines at the most, if possible. I know sometimes it can be challenging, especially if employers have a long name. Um, but yeah, it can be really helpful just to show some more bullets. I want to see at least 2 to 4 bullets for each entry, and I want to see quantified accomplishments. And then I want to see a project section that's very similar. So like I would really slim down that certification section, right, to only be as relevant as possible. And actually I put certifications down and above certifications I'd have a project section. And I want that project section to show relevant projects, relevant skills in action, right? So that you're showing your data analysis skills and your business and analytics skills in action. Like show me how you can use Tableau and Excel and Python and SQL any kind of relevant language or maybe R, right? Show me using those. Show me what you've been able to create. Describe that to me. Show me what did you accomplish. And if it's a school project, you don't have to say that it was for a school project. Just talk about what you built and talk about the results. Same with the employment experience. Focus on what you accomplished. What did you do? Quantify that. Did you save the employer money? Did you make them money? Did you save time? Did you create time? Did you create productivity or efficiency? Did you create a more effective platform? What did you do? Show me that, quantify that as a percentage or as a whole value, and estimate. Don't lie, never lie in your resume, but guesstimate as much as possible when you're thinking of quantities. And if you can update your resume once every 3 months or so, it'll be easier to remember those quantities moving into the future. Skills section is good. These skills look relevant. Good communication skills in English is pretty vague. It doesn't necessarily mean, it's it's kind of a variable as to what that means. Like, what is good? If you have a TOEFL score, right, TOEFL, TOEFL score, then that's like quantifiable, right? This is my score, X amount out of Y amount. I can understand that very easily. Like, or you could say business proficiency or a conversational proficiency or fluency. That means something. Good, like that in this case, that you're good. What does good mean? Is good good enough? I don't know. So if we can use more concrete language, I would suggest like business proficiency. If you have business proficiency, at least state that. Conversational would be like a step lower, in my opinion. Expert or fluency is like premium. That's what you want, right? And then the skills, we can list these in commas. So like data analysis, comma, SQL, comma, Tableau. So you fit more in the space. And then maybe we could even add like Excel, Python, we already got Tableau, R, whatever they're looking for, Git, even like whatever kind of skills. I'm sorry, excuse me. Any kind of skills that the employer is looking for. Okay, that's going to do it for me. I hope this is helpful to you. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll check the comments. I'll answer those. If you have questions about your resume, you want me to take a look at your resume and do this, I'm happy to do that. I do this for free, so I'm not always able to return a resume in like very quick time. Obviously, if someone's paying me to do a resume review, I turn that around as fast as possible. These were both free that I do in exchange for posting videos online. I'm happy to do that. Turnaround time can be a little bit slower sometimes, however. So, mileage may vary, right? I hope that you found a lot of value in this. Thank you, Jin. Thank you, Osama, for sharing your resumes with us so that we can review these. If you all have questions specifically, you know how to reach me. Please reach out. I'd be more than happy to, clarify anything if you have any questions. Okay, it's been a great night. I'm going to get some shut eye. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 5 of 60 Days of Value. Bye.